Welcome to Building the Premier Accounting Firm. This is Roger Knecht, your host, and this podcast is dedicated to helping accounting professionals offer quality accounting services and get paid what they're worth. I encourage you to take advantage of the other episodes, listen to those, and find out from the experts what some of the tips and tricks are that you can actually apply in your company as you're starting and building your own business. In the process, you'll find out how to best market your services, sell your services, price your services, essentially how to best onboard as well as work with your clients and retain them. In fact, offer quality advisory services to engage with them further and actually generate additional revenue streams beyond just the quality accounting services that you're providing. As an accounting professional, I encourage you to work on your business and do what you can to become an accountrepreneur. And for that reason, I invite you to subscribe to and listen to the other episodes of this podcast of Building the Premier Accounting Firm. Now, with regards to myself, I'm Roger Knecht, president of Universal Accounting Center, and I've been working for more than 20 years with accounting professionals as they've gone through the process of starting and building their businesses. I've had the opportunity of working with thousands upon thousands of people who have actually taken that leap of becoming an entrepreneur and doing so with confidence and competence. For some, it was essentially starting with a supplemental income, literally going out and trying to supplement what they're doing on a daily basis with some clients on weekends or weeknights. For others, it was becoming a primary income, literally with the intent of starting and building a business that can provide for their families and do this full time. For others, it's actually they've already established, they have a functioning, productive accounting firm, they have employees, and it's essentially how to better train the staff, how to effectively operate workflows that are efficient and profitable. It's how to grow the business, offering new services, perhaps getting into advisory and consultative services. Whatever the case may be, I invite you to learn more about what it is you can do to actually work on your business and build the organization that you want so that you can, in fact, have the premier accounting firm in your area. Now, today is going to be a little different than what we've traditionally had, where I've had guests on the show and we've actually had the opportunity to discuss with them their experiences and get their advice. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you 4 keys to success. Literally, the things that I've identified that are essential for you to be successful running your business. As I go through this, I'm going to share with you my story as to how I came about learning these and why I feel that they're important and how they apply to you. So sit back, take out a pen and paper, let's make some notes, but let's go ahead and get started and see where this actually takes us. So the first thing I'd like to share with you is many years ago, this is now more than 7 years ago, I was asked to become president of Universal Accounting Center. At the time, I was a vice president in the organization, having worked there for more than 15 years, and in the process, knew the company inside and out. But it was a new task for me. Becoming president of the company was something that I wasn't necessarily expecting or wanting, but I was eager to embrace. And being that it was an organization that had many employees with different roles, I was comfortable with all the different functions of the business. I had been involved with the organization enough years to kind of know the intricacies of what was going on, but I wanted to be a better leader. I wanted to actually have a new vision for the company. I wanted to be able to excel and take the company on a new path, something that I could embrace and lead the organization on. And I didn't know how to do this. Now, coincidentally, when this announcement was made to the organization and all the employees were made aware of my promotion, and the company president at the time kind of shared his exit plans, I coincidentally, the next day, left and went on a family vacation. And it was a cruise where I was literally going to just be checking out and hopefully just kind of getting my mind around things. Well, obviously, as you can imagine, when I left on this cruise, I couldn't disconnect from this new opportunity, this new role that I was going to be filling. And like you, I feel that as we run our companies, whether small or large, we have to consider what are we doing to give direction and purpose to the organizations that we have? Why are we in business? What do we do? How are we different than our competition? Those are relevant questions to ask. And I found myself on this cruise just unable to get these things out of my mind. And so something that I don't typically do while on vacation, I went down and grabbed my laptop and I started to really reflect upon things that I had experienced over the previous years to really identify what was I going to do moving forward to be a leader within Universal and apply lessons that I'd learned as a leader. Well, it was in this process that reading and reviewing things, I came up with a list of 4 key elements that I truly believed were going to ensure my success as a leader, and they're what I want to share with you today. The first happens to be passion. Now, passion is somewhat obvious, I think. I think everyone that I speak with, when I start talking to them about their own companies, when I read about other people and their advice as to what they have found needed, necessary to be successful, they always begin with passion. It's in the energy that they speak of their business. It's in the excitement that they have for the product or service that they deliver. The enthusiasm that they bring to the discussion is, in fact, contagious. And so I knew that I had to be passionate about something. What was it that is going to allow me to basically instill within the organization, with my fellow coworkers, an excitement to do the work, something to be excited about on a day-to-day basis, something that they could get behind and embrace? I realized that I was, in fact, that energizer bunny within the organization, that if I came to the organization with a proper enthusiasm, with a clear direction of what we were doing, it would be something that everyone else could embrace. So what I want to share with you here is the challenge for you to identify your own passion. Why are you in business? So what is it that's unique about what you do? There could be a number of driving things. There's obviously the financial obligations that you may have that causes you to be passionate about what you do. I've got to make this work. But I want you to go beyond that. Why should someone do business with you rather than someone else? What is it that's unique about your services that when they speak to you, it's more than just accounting that you're providing. It's basically this passion that you have for the work you're doing that they can tap into and leverage in their own organizations. It's the passion that makes you unique. No one should work harder than you. No one should have more vision than you. And as president of the business, no one should have more drive than you. So what I want you to do is consider right now your passion. Now, a lot of people, when I'm having this conversation, I'll get quoted the Simon Sinek video from TED where he speaks of knowing your why. Very good explanation of this whole concept, something that a lot of people can really identify with. But I want you to understand that your passion is what's going to determine your success. It takes you from just having tasks or doing a job to really being able to inspire others and help other people. So one of the things that I have is a quote that I've referenced, and the author's actually unknown. It says, "You need to find out what you love to do and discover a way to get paid doing it." I've heard this many ways, many different ways over the years, but really now that I'm president of Universal Accounting, I felt that it truly applied to me. I had to be more excited about the work in the business than anyone else in the organization. No one else could be more excited than me about what it is we were doing and how we were going about it. If I ever found an employee that was more excited than me, I knew I needed to step up my game. If I could go to a potential customer and share with them this is enthusiasm, they would want to embrace it and become a part of it. That's what I needed, and that's what I found. Now, the other thing I wanted to actually share is this other quote. This is something that I think kind of communicates well what we're talking about. It says, when you're following your energy and doing what you want all the time, the distinction between work and play dissolves. Now, this is a gentleman, his name, I'm going to slaughter it. It's Shatki Gowin. He's an author and a teacher in personal growth. And one of the things that I thought was very impactful about this is I'm a workaholic. I just love work. I can start the day early. I can go late into the evening. In fact, one of the things that I quickly learned, well, actually, I knew this already before becoming president, is in the role that I had even as vice president and manager before that, the tasks never ended. There was never a time where I left the end of the day with everything accomplished. I always had something more I could be doing. And so with that passion, I always felt that I was drawn to the business and continuing to work. In fact, when I went home, I'd take work with me, or on vacations, like I've already shared, sometimes do work. That's something that I find is very common with a lot of the people that are passionate about their work and excelling and being successful. Now, I need to naturally curb that, and I've later in life learned to be more present with my family, more present with my spouse, more present with some of the other responsibilities I have outside of work. And so I've been able to now become more clear, delineating from work and play and so forth, but the passion is still there because I'm able to channel it. This is where the passion begins. You kind of eat, sleep, and drink your work, and it allows you to actually focus on things that are very, very important to move the company forward. So I'm assuming that you have that passion. I'm assuming that you can identify how your business is unique and why it is you love what you do. So now that it's clear that you are passionate about something specific about your company, it should also be that you're helping your business become a self-sustaining, living, breathing entity, autonomous from yourself. What the goal is here is to create not a job for you as you're running your business, just to keep you busy, but we're hoping that you actually can drive your business to be autonomous from you, and you can give it direction, and with that, give it purpose, so that actually it's something that is now working with customers. The company has processes and systems that ensure things get done properly and done well. So with this idea of passion, there are basically 4 things that I have found have allowed me to keep my passion and sustain that. Because the last thing I want to do is go into the office and have people look at me and see me be ho-hum about what's going on in the office, or maybe bring to the office some of the frustrations I have outside of work. That should never happen. I should be able to come to work with basically an excitement to be there. This is my safe zone. This is where I can excel. This is where I have more control over everything, and this is where I want to be. So with that in mind, these are the 4 tips that I have about passion. First of all, you want to read at least 4 books on the subject that you desire to become an expert in. If you read 4 books on any topic that you're passionate about, that you can bring to your business model, you will know more than 90% of the people out there. Now, the beauty of the books also allow you to be familiar with differing points of view regarding that given topic. It allows you to be more well-rounded and more diverse in the sense that, yes, you have your strong opinion. Yes, you're passionate about what you're doing. But because of that perspective that's been brought in through reading these 4 books, you're able to also entertain or explain other points of view and also clarify why you have the one that you do have. So I encourage you to read at least 4 books about any given topic that you want to be an expert on, so that you can feed your passion and be the expert in the room that you need to be. The second thing I want you to do is I do want you to understand the controversies regarding the topic that you've chosen to be passionate about, and the solutions that are available to address those situations. Having your own opinion and your own perspective as to what it is that you would say or do about those certain topics. In accounting, this could be regarding tax planning. In accounting, it could be regarding cash flow management and growth strategies. With regards to consulting services, it could be your advisory work and how you interact with your clients and things that you bring to the table. It could be the niche that you're involved in as you focus on certain industries that you intend to actually focus on. Now, all of these things are helping you remain passionate about what you're doing because you're becoming entrenched, ingrained in all these things. It's becoming a part of you. The next thing in becoming an expert is to also associate with those in your area that you've chosen to excel in and get the training and certifications needed to allow that you are demonstrating this additional skill set with confidence and competence. It's you have the skills to do the work and you have the confidence to be basically that bold expert in that space. Now, with these associations, I encourage you to not just participate, but really get involved. You can actually, in some organizations, move into some leadership roles. You want to attend the conferences that are associated with these things so that you can interact with your peers and become part of a community. When you do this, it allows you to sustain that passion that you have for what you're doing. So if you're kind of an island unto yourself where you go to work every day, you don't interact with your peers, you're not reading and staying current on things that are relevant to the thing that you're passionate about, you run the risk of losing that energy, that passion for the work. And that's what we're trying to do, is keep that fire alive. The fourth thing that I wanted to share with you regarding passion is just to recognize that you need to have purpose in what you're doing. What is it that's unique about your services and offering as an accounting professional, as you're building the premier accounting firm, that distinguishes you from your competition? Is it a unique service you're providing? Is it a unique experience that the customer has by working with you? something that allows you to stand out as being special. And with that in mind, you're going to be able to sustain that passion because you have a presence about yourself that everyone else is drawn to. So realize there is, in fact, a process to sustaining and finding and sustaining that passion. Now, one thing that I do want to share here is that the power of passion is that it fuels your energy and drives you to push forward with clarity of purpose. The passion enables you to make the hard decisions and work through the frustrations towards your vision. It's this one thing that will sustain you during the hard times. One of the things that I learned as I was on that cruise and I was reviewing so much work is that we're all going to have trials or struggles as we're running our business. There are things on the horizon that are going to take tenacity and fortitude to work through. And as a leader, your people around you need to see that the purpose is still there, that you're going to actually get through this, that you have hope. That's what they're leaning on you for. And this extends to your clients as well. Just like with this COVID and economic downturn that we've all experienced recently, people are turning to the accounting profession to essentially be what I refer to as business first responders. We're there to help them stay alive. We're there to help them actually do the things that are necessary for them to stay in business. We provide that hope, and it's through that passion that people get excited and believe that, yes, in fact, I can do this with your help. And that's what we're trying to do. Let me talk about the second now element of what I identified as necessary for me to succeed in the role as president of Universal Accounting. And it was my commitment to succeed. This was something that through my studies, as I was reviewing things and reading things, I realized that the common thread for people to be very, very successful is that can-do, must-do attitude. This was a powerful extension of passion because it actually demonstrated the focus and the determination that I had to succeed, because there was nothing that I wouldn't do in order to make this be a success. So it's that can-do attitude. In fact, it's that I'm going to do attitude that was so important. So what I wanted to do is share with you that this commitment to succeed is something that you need to have. You need to be able to work the extra hours, go in early, be willing to work late. You need to be able to be willing to work weekends when necessary. You need to be able to travel across town to see your client. You need to be able to take that call at an unexpected time. What we need is that commitment to succeed so that the clients know that you're there for them, that the employees know that you're there for them. This is not just because you're willing to go the extra mile, it's because you actually believe that what's most important and what everyone else won't do, you will do. This is basically your willingness to push through and do whatever is necessary. So there's a quote here that I'd like to share with you. It says, "Desire is the key motivation, but it's determination and commitment to an unrelenting pursuit of your goal, a commitment to excellence that will enable you to obtain the success you succeed." And that's Mario Andretti that said that. I really feel that encapsulates what we're talking about here. It's that can-do, will-do attitude that's so important, because you have the will, therefore there is a way. So there's another one that's, I think, very important. This is Martina Navratilova. She said, "The difference between involvement and commitment is like ham and eggs. The chicken is involved, the pig is committed." Now think about that for a minute. The chicken's involved, it's laying the egg, but the commitment of the pig is far greater. It gave itself to this. So we have to be willing to sacrifice whatever it takes to build the businesses that we have. And so when I was on the cruise and I was identifying this as that second of the four elements, I just realized that when I go back to the office, it's not just me enjoying the title of president. It's not just me being able to make those few decisions that only I could make. It was me being passionate and driving people to see their full potential. I've got currently an employee that I work with, and she just thrives off of it. She's never worked in an environment where she's had that much support and belief. I tell my people all the time, their success is my success. Whatever tools, resources they need in order to do the job well and excel, I'm willing to help and provide them with, because their success is my success. They are the ones on the ground. They're the ones working with the clients. They're the ones doing the tasks and performing the day-to-day functions. I need them to know that their success, their happiness is important to me, because if they're happy, I'm happy. And that really does resonate with everyone. So right now, if you're thinking that it's too cliche, that if you're missing the emotion from all these types of things, then I think you're not realizing the full potential you have to take your passion and channel it, and through these actions of overachieving, make your business a success. So one of the things that I want to basically emphasize here then is that there are a number of things that you can focus on, basically to identify your commitment to success. And it's, first of all, time. The next is money. The third is recognition. And the fourth is altruism. When you're being successful, one of the things that you need to understand is with this, time will become very important to you. And I realized as president of the company, I needed to manage my time effectively. And so time management became a key element of my commitment to succeed, because I wanted to get involved in everything, but I also realized there were only so many hours in the day. The next thing is the stewardship of money. I realized that I needed to manage very well the marketing, the advertising, the payroll. I needed to manage the cash flow. And so my commitment to succeed was really hinging upon my ability to manage the finances of the business with purpose. I needed to know that inside and out. The third element was recognition. I needed to be able to give praise where it was due. I wanted to be positive and let everyone in the organization see that I acknowledged their hard work, their success. I wanted them to feel as if they were contributing and being acknowledged for it. I wanted them to be able to believe that they were making a difference. They were part of a greater good. And so recognition was something that I wanted to be able to offer. And I needed to know how they best received it. And so I wanted to know what was important to them. And then the last is altruism. It's finding a way to, when successful, share the success. How can we actually give back? And so there's a variety of things that we've as an organization identified that we try to do to give back. And with that altruism, I think we're making the world a better place beyond just the services we're already providing. And so this commitment to succeed really does pay off in a variety of ways. So basically understand this. To be successful, you and I both need to realize that we need to be willing to go the extra mile and do the things that some people won't. And at the same time, be willing to have that can-do attitude of, if something needs to happen, you're willing to step in and make sure it's taken care of. And with that commitment to succeed, you're going to do very, very well. Now, here's the third thing that I learned. And when I was on the cruise trying to identify of all the traits that I was reading and remembering from all the business owners I had been exposed to over the years, family members, friends, as I was considering all the things, I found that the third common trait that existed in the books that I was reading and the things I was reviewing on the cruise came down to quality. I knew that I had to have within the organization a quality of services. And some of the things that, if you're familiar with universal accounting, you'd know that all of our programs, each and every one of the courses that are offered, you're assigned basically two individuals, an orientation counselor, a person whose phone number and email you have direct access to. It's not a support team. It's not a group of people that you just kind of email or call the company in general. You have a key individual that's designated to you as your orientation counselor, the key contact you have within the organization. So any needs that you have as going through the courses, you have a key individual that you can reach out to and get direction and answers for questions. But in addition to that, all of the courses and curriculum, we're able to actually have an academic coach assigned. So it's essentially a tutor, someone to help you learn the material, apply the material in your business or in your organization or with your clients with confidence. And then lastly, in real world application, as you deal with applying these principles that you are learning in the courses, you're able to now kind of adapt or tweak them to the needs of your situation based on what you're experiencing in the real world. Well, this was huge. And I felt that all of our courses and curriculum needed to have that one element so that we can ensure the quality of our student success and experience with Universal. Well, I bring that to you as well. The quality of the services that you're providing need to be unique. In order to build the premier accounting firm in your area, you need to have consistency, and your commitment to succeed and passion are now basically identified or defined by the quality of the work that you're doing. Now, unfortunately, I've met many people who were passionate and they were committed, but what they offered was basically substandard. It was just basically a product or service that didn't make sense. It lacked purpose, or it lacked a place in the market. It had become antiquated, let's say. Well, maybe the best thing that you can do is find out why your product or services actually are offered. Why are you in business? What do you do? Can you define basically that why, as we mentioned earlier? How is what you're offering different or perhaps the best in your marketplace? Yes, it's one thing to offer quality accounting services, but what experience do you provide that makes it unique? Is it the timeliness of the reports? Is it the fact that just in addition to providing the reports, you actually give certain analysis and feedback and application of what the numbers are really meaning to empower the business owner that you work with as a client, the information they need to make more informed business decisions? Is it quarterly reviews, and maybe is it yearly planning sessions for tax planning purposes? Is it basically advisory services where you get into some more of the actual applications of the numbers and see what the business can do in the coming months and years to improve their profit margins or their cash flow situation, their receivables, their payables? There's a lot of things that you can do more than just provide financial reports. So what is it that makes you unique? And in fact, what makes your company competitive in your marketplace to in fact become the premier marketing or accounting service in the area? So one of the things that I'd like to share with you here is a quote that I found while I was preparing all this, and it's from Philip Kotler. He says, "Marketing is the art of creating genuine customer value. It's the art of helping your customer become better off. The marketer's watchwords are quality, service, and value." So what's the quality of the services that you're providing? What's the service benefit that they receive and the value that they gain from having worked with your services? Regarding quality, I think we just all need to do a better job of distinguishing for our clients what their benefit is using our services. The next thing I needed to identify was this fourth key. And this one was somewhat obvious because obviously we are an accounting school and we work with accounting professionals to start and build their businesses as well as excel in their careers. So being that the company was, prior to myself, run by a CPA, numbers were everything. We had key performance indicators for everything going on in the organization. And I had learned over the years the value of the numbers. And I knew that the fourth element that was key to success that I was seeing in other organizations, by other leaders, and that I'd also experienced as we had attained Inc. 500, Inc. 5000, Utah 100 acknowledgments with our company's growth, is the importance of knowing the numbers. The one thing that I can definitely tell you is it's the neglect of the numbers that will then cause problems. And so you have to know your numbers inside and out. I knew while I was on the cruise that this was going to be a key element of my success for a number of reasons. The first that I already knew is that numbers remove the emotion from the decision making. The numbers, when I followed them, they gave clarity as to what needs to happen next, where important decisions needed to be made in the organization, what needed to change, what we needed to do more of, what we needed to stop doing. Knowing the numbers empowered me to actually make more informed business decisions with less emotion. And that was very helpful because in the time of being president, I've hired individuals, I have fired individuals. I have found people that are great at who they are, they're wonderful people, but they just weren't in the right seat on the bus to contribute to the organization. Or maybe the organization had grown and exceeded their skills and expertise, and it was now time to find someone else to take on that responsibility. All of these things were evident because of watching the numbers. Truly, there are, beyond just the traditional accounting financial reports that you would be familiar with, other things that are leading indicators. Lead generation. Is the marketing that we're doing generating the leads that we need as an organization to grow? Sales numbers. Are we closing the percentages of the leads that we're receiving? Are we actually getting the margins that we were hoping for? Are we in a position where individuals are producing and helping sell as they should, or do we need to find other people that have better sales processes? All of these things aren't necessarily in the accounting numbers. These are other numbers that we needed to identify and watch. We were looking at, being that we're a school, what can we do to increase the number of people completing the programs in a timely manner? We were looking at what we can do to ensure that they successfully completed the programs and were able to pass the courses with the completion rate of 70% or better, or in the cases of the courses we offer with designations, get the 90% or better that they also deserved. All of these things were metrics that we needed to watch, and they were telling us where in the organization we needed to spend our time and our energy to improve things for the customer experience, for our margins, for us to be profitable. Knowing the numbers allowed me to identify where were the hot spots that I needed to spend time next. What were some of the things that we needed to bring outside help in? All of these things are important for you to also identify, and I encourage you to kind of know your numbers. Now, with that in mind, I think this is also applicable to the accounting services that you're providing to your clients. They likewise need to understand the value of the numbers. And I think it's important for you to understand that it's not just the financial reports that you're giving them. You are, in fact, for your clients, an interpreter. We've heard the phrase that accounting is the language of business. Very, very true. But when you're a business owner and a client of yours, and they're not basically accounting professionals or accounting trained, these reports don't mean anything to them unless you're able to interpret them for them. And so it's important that you actually take the time to maybe help them realize how decisions that they're making are in fact impacting their bottom line. So being that interpreter is very, very important. Now, with this in mind, I want to actually share with you two analogies so that you can actually see how your role impacts your clients. And it's, first of all, with regards to knowing the numbers, it's like being a doctor versus a coroner. A doctor and a coroner are the same, medically trained in the sense that they've become physicians. They know the human body. Yes, you can specialize in things, but in the case of the coroner, they're merely looking at what's happened and the past. They're able to say with the deceased individual through the autopsy, this is what happened and this is why they're dead. Well, like an accounting professional, if we only focus on the past and we're only dealing with what has happened, we're only able to state the obvious. The business owner knows what happened last month. They experienced it. What we are doing is, if we're only focusing on the past, is we're acting like a coroner. We're telling them the obvious and we're giving them some of the details. What we need to be now in the accounting profession, though, is much like a doctor, someone that little pains come in, or I want to do weight loss, or I want to improve my health, and you're able to give me some advice as to, here's what you need to do differently. Here's perhaps a medication that might help in the short term. Here's a surgery that we can do that will actually help improve this situation. They're with the idea of keeping you alive, the idea of doing things that we can do to improve the quality of life. If you're in that same capacity, not working only as a coroner, but as a doctor, as a rehabilitation therapist, as someone that's actually like a physical coach, that's as a physical trainer, helping them implement things to improve their quality of life, that strategy in your business model as an accounting professional will ensure that your relationship with your clients is entirely different. In fact, very empowering to them to take their business to another level. So basically what I want to do is share with you what I refer to, and what's called, is the wisdom pyramid. The wisdom pyramid, when I implemented this in Universal, really helped us. And it's something we learned and we taught, but it's the implementation of it that really makes a difference. And it's understanding that to climb the wisdom pyramid, there's 4 stages or levels. The first begins with the data. If you're not collecting the data, you're not following, you're not doing what needs to be done. There's a quote out there that says, what you measure, you improve. If you're not measuring it, it's not going to change. That's why everybody gets on a scale and they weigh themselves. They want to know, am I getting better? If you don't want to improve, you're not going to look at the scale. If you're exercising, if you're running, and you're not measuring the time that you're doing it, it's not going to get any better. It's through the measuring of things that they improve. So the first thing is we got to get data. And I knew as a president of the company, I needed to identify what key metrics were leading indicators. If we got enough leads, for example, in our sales process, then I knew that we had with our closing ratio a certain thing that was going to come of it. So many new student enrollments, let's say. When I had with our division called Universal Business Builder, where we work with business owners and clients offering coaching services, I knew that if I was doing enough networking meetings and meeting enough business owners, potential clients, for every so many clients I met, potential clients that I met, I knew with a closing ratio, I would eventually get so many new business owner clients. These are leading indicators. And I knew that if those didn't happen, I shouldn't expect down the line the sales to come. So I had to watch these pre-numbers, and that data was very informative because then I could track, well, what's happening with these numbers? And that takes me to the next stage. It's the information. It's collecting this data. It's finding out from the data what reports we can generate, and from those reports learn, well, it so happens we're closing these people better than these people. It so happens that this marketing effort is more effective than this marketing effort. It's those various things that we need to be tracking that are outside of the accounting that really make a difference. Now, in accounting, it's also looking at various things such as like your cash flow report and where the money's coming in, where's it going, your aged receivables. I mean, there's so many things within this that we can apply the principles of taking the data and compiling the information. That takes us to our third thing. That's great that you're collecting the data, and that's wonderful you've got the reports, the information. But if you're not actually looking at the reports, looking at the trends, understanding the numbers, taking time to look at the information that is made up of the data, you're never going to learn anything. And so that's where your role as an accounting professional is very important for your clients, because you're helping them interpret that data and get the knowledge they need. Likewise, in your own business, when was the last time you looked at your financials and seen what kind of trends have happened in your organization? It's from that analysis, that knowledge, that you're eventually going to get wisdom. And the wisdom then becomes that sixth sense. It's your ability to know the numbers well enough, the data well enough, that you're able to see things coming before they happen. And it's because of that wisdom that you're able to make informed business decisions and actually test and try and do new things. So this wisdom pyramid is something that I knew was going to be critical to my success in running the business. And time again, it has helped me avoid challenges and, more importantly, embrace opportunities so as to grow the business. So you want to apply these principles, and essentially, here's a brief outline of basically your purposes in the accounting business. It's obviously tax. The government asks for tax or asks for accounting from the business to determine the tax liability. And what we want to do is make sure that you're able to meet that need. You've got return on investment. Can you help the clients understand where those things are that they're making their profit? It's essentially knowing the numbers well enough to be able to say, this is where the money is. Cash flow. Do we know where it's coming from? Do we know where it's going? Do we know the flow of it? Is it coming in after the fact, or is it coming in before we're paying the bills? These things are very essential. Profit. Are we able to show what's making the company profitable? In your organization, can you see what clients are actually good clients that are making you money? What ones are now draining you and actually taking your time and not being profitable? Are you able to forecast and budget and with accuracy actually pinpoint what's going to happen in your organization? How well do you know the future? With these things, are you able to dashboard them and track the numbers, make them visual? Can you actually be reminded and within your organization see what needs attention? All of these things are elements of knowing the numbers in your business. It's the essence of pulling all these things together that I knew was going to be essential to my success in growing the business. It was pulling these elements together that I knew would allow me to become a good leader and president for Universal Accounting Center. So likewise, I encourage you to consider these four elements of what it is that you can do to be passionate in your organization, what it is that you can do to be that energizer to help your people in your company as well as your clients see you as someone that they want to be involved with. Your commitment to succeed. It's that idea of we do what needs to be done, that we're going to over-deliver. We're going to actually get things done in a timely manner. That commitment to succeed is where you're going to avoid challenges and failures and frustrations. It's the quality, the idea of what makes you unique in your market. It's that idea of being a specialist or having a niche or doing something that is particular to your service. And then this idea of knowing the numbers in your organization, and in this case for your clients, knowing the things that matter most so that you can help them actually do this well. So what can you do, and why should anyone care? That's my question to you about passion. What do you do, and why should anyone care? If you can answer that question, you can then tap into the passion that you have. What do you do, and why should anyone care? Regarding commitment, what are you willing to sacrifice to succeed? I challenge you to actually give something up, change something. What are you willing to sacrifice for your success? Is it maybe not sleeping in as late as you do? Is it maybe staying an hour earlier or an hour longer at work? Is it maybe no longer watching that television show or something that's detracting from your success? Is it maybe reaching out to your employees and getting more involved with them, or your clients for that matter? What will need to change in order for you to be successful? That's the commitment element of your success. Regarding quality, what makes what you offer the best, and how is it unique? Can you define it? Do your clients experience it? Do they know it? Regarding knowledge and the numbers, when you actually look at this, are you gathering and tracking and recording the numbers that matter most? Are you gathering the leading indicators to know what's coming before it happens, and the lagging indicators to record what did take place so that you can then use that as a standard or benchmark to gauge everything against? When you do these four things, you're going to develop personally and professionally what you need in order to be successful. Now, with all this, I want to share with you basically two more things that I later found are essential after identifying these four key elements. The first thing was the value of a dream board. It was the clarity of taking all of the things that I wanted to accomplish personally and professionally, getting the clarity to put them on paper and do so not in writing, but as a vision board. Some people refer to it as a dream board. Personally, I think it's just that board that allows me to stay grounded and focus on what matters. And as I work on this, I truly feel I'm declaring to the universe, to my friends, to my family, what is important to me so that I can keep basically all the things that are distractions at bay while I work on what matters most. The dream board gives me my passion. It gives me my energy. It reminds me of why I'm doing all of this. And so for me, having a way to visually put down very clearly what I'm trying to accomplish and do each year has been very, very important. And so that's a later element that I then added after the cruise and after having been a president of the company for a few years. The next element of this is basically a bonus that I want to throw in here. I've taught this for years. Whenever I'm doing speaking engagements, I've tried to include this because it's become so very important to me, and it's partly because I'm a workaholic that this became so relevant. And I'd just like to kind of point this out that it's something that you ought to consider as well. And it's the secret to happiness. The secret to making this all possible and keeping happy in the process and feeling like I'm not neglecting anything was basically to have some balance in my physical, mental, and spiritual health. I made it a point that being a workaholic as I am, I needed to find time to work on my physical well-being. I needed to eat a little bit better, maybe eat smaller portions, but I also needed to exercise. And honestly, it's through that exercise that I've found that I've gotten that energy I need and that ability to push when things got hard. It was that mental capacity of I had clarity, my mind wasn't foggy, I had purpose, I had intent. And so because of that clarity, I could push through some of the challenging times, and with clarity, even keep my focus on the vision of what I was doing because it was so clear. But the spiritual health as well, it was recognizing that this wasn't just me. It was understanding that it wasn't all me, that there was a greater force that was blessing me with certain insights and talents and abilities. It was recognizing my team around me and realizing that there were other talents that were being brought to the table that made things possible. So I encourage you to look at your own physical, mental, and spiritual health and what it is that you can do to find those other resources you need to be successful. Now, with all that being said, I'm going to throw in one other bonus. I think it's important that we know ourselves. I think it's important that we kind of identify, we need to know what makes us tick. But I've found that working with a coach, someone that I could open up with, bounce ideas off of, reach out to, was so essential to my success. Early on, it was just so many things needed my attention. Early on, as president of the company, I realized there was a lot of decisions I needed to make. And prioritizing those and figuring out which ones I could delegate was huge. Well, I needed to talk this through. So just to illustrate it, let me just share with you a conversation I had with my coach one time. I was leaving the office, and as I left the office, I just had a lot on my mind, and I couldn't focus on any one thing just because there was so much that needed to be done, and I had to make a number of significant decisions. And it was the end of the day, I had to be home. But on the drive home, I called my coach. And as I was calling my coach, I basically said, hey, I've got a lot of things on my mind. I was hoping you had a moment that I could just talk this through. And he was very good. He asked some great questions. And in asking those questions, my needing to answer them and verbally communicate them out loud caused my mind to calm down. I was now able to speak with someone and focus on one thing at a time, and by his questions, isolate what needed to be done. And as I talked through it, the answers became obvious. As I was speaking to him, it was abundantly clear in my mind what the right decision was for this particular challenge or issue. And then I'd go on to the next one. And as I explained the situation and verbally communicated what was going on and what my concerns were, the answer became more and more clear. My point with all this is, if I didn't have the coach, all these things would have continued to swim around in my mind, and I wouldn't have gotten the answers that I needed because I would just been frustrated. And a lot of times as president of the company, as you run your own business, you'll find that you can't bring some things up to your employees. There's some things you just can't bring up to your spouse. It's to whom do you bring this up and talk it through? And having that coach, someone that I could just bounce the ideas off of, really made a difference. And the power of a coach is two things. You know when you have a great coach when they're asking the right questions. It's for you to solve. It's for you to answer. They're asking the right questions and holding you accountable. It's when you say something's important and you're going to have it done by a certain day that you do it. Because as president of the company, there was no one else I was really accountable to. I could procrastinate things because I'm the one that's actually deciding whether or not this is important or needs to be done. And so to have someone that I was accountable to made a huge difference. And so having a coach is something that I would definitely suggest. The last thing is something that I'd really, really, really want to implore you consider. And it's because of being a workaholic that I realized that the time that I have with my family and away from work was actually going to determine the success I had at work. And what I mean by that is it allowed me to get away from working in the business and being sucked into the day-to-day operations, that I could remove myself and get some greater clarity and perspective. And honestly, this is where some great ideas and suggestions came, because I was removing myself from the day-to-day operations. And so basically, it's understanding the value of a holiday or vacation. I encourage you to take what I have now learned to be scientific proof as to why you ought to take a vacation. And so in addition to the 4 principles and the idea of having some balance, focusing on physical, mental, and spiritual health, and in addition to finding a coach, it's this next element of having a vacation or a holiday that you can look forward to. So here's some quick study, scientific information to make this point. First of all, studies have shown that it's actually not the vacation itself that is rejuvenating and that is what's helpful. Honestly, it is the time preceding the actual vacation where you get the endorphins, you get the high, where you get the benefit because of the planning and the anticipation of the vacation. If you're like me and so many other people that I know, it's on the vacation that we actually wake up earlier, stay up later, we do more, we kind of push ourselves to fit all these things in that we want to do in the trip or travel. And all of a sudden, at the end of the vacation, we may actually come back more tired than when we left. So what we want to do is just understand that the vacation is really the fun of anticipating it. It's speaking with friends and family and saying, this is what we're doing, and everyone discussing what they'd like to do or what they're looking forward to. And it's in that enthusiasm preceding the event that we actually get rejuvenated. Now, the second thing is they've found through a number of scientific studies that you need to have something every 8 to 12 weeks. In fact, what they have found is that through these studies, there's a depression that will set in after a vacation or a holiday. If you do not have something scheduled in the coming 8 to 12 weeks, you'll actually experience a depression simply because you're not able to look forward to or anticipate something else. And so in order to avoid that depression, when you come back from a vacation or a holiday, you want to then have something else that you now get to plan and look forward to that's in the next 8 to 12 weeks. If it's further out, if it's a 6 month or a year out or next year, it's just not as exciting because it's too far away. But if it's in the next 8 to 12 weeks, something that you can plan and look forward to and discuss, then you can maintain those highs from vacation and holiday to the next. Now, the thing that I would want to clarify here is a lot of times when I'm teaching this, people will assume that this means it's like a two-week vacation to Tahiti. I'm not talking about every 8 to 12 weeks doing something like that. I'm talking about just weekend experiences, things that you're going to be doing with friends and family. It's trips to grandma's house that you're doing in 2 weekends. It's the little things that you can plan and look forward to. It's the staycations. It's the 3-day weekends. It's the camping trip. It's the activity that's coming up that you're going to be doing for a holiday celebration. It's those little things count. Now, you can definitely throw in some bigger ones, and that's wonderful, a great trip. But these little ones can also be the things that your family and friends can discuss and anticipate. I so much believe in this that basically in our household, we plan to do one of these things every month. So we're always planning things as a couple, as a couples retreat, as a family retreat. We have a group of friends. I have a group of guy friends that I go do things with. We have a group of couples that we go do couple retreats with. We have family activities that we go do. Well, if you look at the course of a year with my wife and I, with my buddy friends, with the couples that we go out and do things with, the family vacations, you can quickly see how there's an activity, something going on, if not every week, at least every other week, and it's basically something we're always discussing and looking forward to. It's rejuvenating, and in many of these trips or experiences, I find times, quiet times when I can daydream and focus on issues regarding the business, and I get the clarities and insights that I need to go back and actually implement and make the business even better. So I encourage you that in addition to these 4 keys to success, consider what you can do for your physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. Consider what you can do to work with a quality coach. And lastly, find yourself in a situation where you can actually have some time to step away from that workaholic routine that we perhaps all have and work on your business by spending time with the people that matter most in your life. In doing these things, I really do believe these are the keys to your success and really can make a difference in your business. So just as a closing thing, I do want to encourage you to take advantage of these opportunities. Some people actually do reach out to us here at Universal Accounting Center, and as part of our division, Universal Business Builder, receive the coaching that we offer to help them work on their business. For that, we offer 5 key services where we help you engage and manifest, basically get clarity as to why it is you're in business and what it is you're trying to accomplish. We also look at doing things that are related to understanding accounting. What are the key metrics you need to be watching in your organization to ensure you're watching the right numbers and learning from the numbers so that you can run your business effectively? We look at marketing and sales, basically ways to increase your revenue so that you're actually going out there and making the money you deserve, because honestly, nothing happens until you make a sale. The next is improving profits. It's basically identifying what are those profitable things that you can be doing in your business to ensure that you're actually getting paid what you're worth. And then lastly, building a business of value. As we consult with our clients, business owners, and help them implement these 5 areas of their company, they actually receive the quality accounting or coaching that they're needing so that they're held accountable for the things that matter most because of the quality questions that we ask them to help them work on their business. The other thing that I want to encourage you to actually do is look at what you can focus on in your business to become passionate. Just go back to the beginning. Figure out what it is that you want to be passionate about. So for that reason, I'm going to be making available a short little white paper. It's basically a summary of what I was able to draft and compose while I was on this cruise as to what it is I can be doing as president of Universal Accounting Center to ensure kind of my legacy and my impact on the business and where it is that I was able to take the company now over the last number of years to ensure not only that we're just staying in business, but we're thriving. And I would like to share these with you. So essentially, it's a white paper that I'll make available to you in the episode description of this podcast. So take advantage of that, download it, read through it, and see what more you can learn from these principles of how you can work on your business. And with that in mind, understand this: business success is universal. In fact, being in business for yourself but not by yourself is possible with Universal Accounting Center. So I encourage you to reach out to Universal. You can contact us at 801-265-3777 or visit us online at universalaccountingschool.com. Do take care, have a great day, and be safe out there.